Rosalind's back at the doctor today. Yeah.
Oh, they're in there.
If everybody's okay and have your plates now, we'll meet and eat and try not to choke. Okay. So, pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, please take notice that the decisions of the Nashville Public Library Board may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. And as far as public comments are concerned, pursuant to TCA 84412, time is reserved at the beginning of the library board meetings for which there is an actionable item on the agenda for public comment germane to items on the agenda. Up to 5 people will be allowed up to 3 minutes each to speak. Speakers must register within 1/2 hour prior to the beginning of the meeting by signing their name on a physical sign-up sheet available at the entrance and identifying any agenda item on which they intend to comment. So do we have anyone registered today to do public comment?
No, we don't.
No. Okay. Well, we'll go to the next comment. I want to, and she's chewing, but I want to introduce Annalise Williams. Annalise is presidential fellow at Belmont. She's a graduate of Belmont, and she gets to shadow me for the day. But she told me on the way out here that this is her neighborhood, this was her library.
Many hours here. I'm just overjoyed to be here and get to see a little peek into Joyce's wild world. But I, grew up in South Nashville, just down the street, and was homeschooled. So I actually spent a lot of hours in this library during the day with my mom. So happy to be back.
Thank you. So I'm so glad they get to, it's a unique opportunity for the students. They get to attend board meetings, they get to work with all the executives at the university, and then they get to decide, how they use that training to go on and further their career. Second thing is, I had such a great opportunity to work with Liz Coleman to bring Representative Jim Clyburn, who had written a book. She said, let's have this event at the Green Hills Library. And it was going to be a very small event, and we prepared, I think, for 60 people. We had 73. And I think he sold 78 books, but the room was packed. And so I just want to thank Liz publicly and thank all the people who came. And it's just, everybody just has a great time at the library, and think the library is home, and people brought kids, and so it was a great family experience there. So we were just elated. We were just elated that the whole place was packed. Yes, it was great, and I want to thank all of the people who gave time to do that, especially Liz and all of the fabulous employees who worked at the Green Hills Library. And that's it for me. Approval of minutes. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to read the October 21st minutes. Are there any corrections, additions to the 21st minutes? If not, you okay?
So moving, I have observation.
Okay, you have an observation? Oh. Okay.
One of the things I did notice in the minutes, I'm sure all of you have seen, is how the community is really starting to use the electronic resources that you have within the e-books. I mean, I noticed that the e-books have pretty much doubled compared to last year, and the video books. Lily is one of my favorite applications that I use because sometimes it's a little bit hard for me to get to the library. So, I check out books into it as much as possible. I'm reading a couple books now, 100 Startup. So things that will help me within my medical situation, which actually has. Whatever you're doing as far as your marketing strategy with that, excellent job with that. So.
Thank you. I'm there too in my book club meeting. As soon as they announce the book, that's where I'm on the phone to reserve that book. So it is great. It is great. Any other comments, additions, or corrections to the minutes? And I think we have a motion on the floor to approve. I need a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Minutes are passed. Terry.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here with us. Once a year, we get to do a little thank you to the board for everything that you all do for us, and so that's why we have the lunch today. This is not, for people that don't normally come to board meetings, they don't get a lunch every month. So just, from the bottom of all of our hearts, just thank you for everything you do. Because we know that you're out in the community and helping us make MPL be the best that it can be and something that we're proud of. So just want to say thank you. I'm going to limit, because we have so much on the agenda today. Everything that I needed to tell you was in my board report that you all received on Wednesday last week, but I will give a main update because I know everybody waits for that. So for the main restoration, you likely remember that in the course of their assessment of the building, the restoration crew spotted additional work that was required on the building's fire safety mechanisms. And that needs to happen before we can safely reoccupy the building. So on Wednesday, last week, we've been waiting for the architects to send marked drawings for the additional work that is needed on the building's fire safety mechanisms before we can safely open. The restoration company is reviewing the drawings. They've added their comments for review by the architects, and I think that we're to a good place where those now will be able to move forward to Metro codes and to also the fire marshal. And Metro codes and the fire marshal have both been super responsive within 24 hours when we've asked them to either come out or to look at something. So we're hoping that same thing will happen as well. So I will give them a heads up just to let them know, the two department heads, that those are coming. Unfortunately, I don't have an update on the parking garage. I was hoping Wednesday I did a WebEx with Diana Alarcon, who is the department head for NDOT, and she is waiting on some shoring up. They haven't even been able to get into the area where the ramp on the 4th floor is melted. The structural engineers have, but so we're going to meet every other week going forward, so that when she does have the information, then we can send what I don't want to happen is for the information to either go out from the mayor's office or from NDOT, and then our staff or you, the library board, find out about it on the ABC News. So we've agreed that we will collaborate and make sure that the message goes out so that everybody hears that information at the same time. So again, we continue to lean on the experts. I know it's frustrating. I think everybody is frustrated, but we just have to make sure that we are able to ensure that the public and the staff are able to return to using the library safely. I want to let everybody know that we all as staff are eager to get back into our space and welcome customers back to the library. But the good news is I just want to give a shout out to all staff across the system, because, the main public service staff have been going into the branches, which, they're sharing workspaces and all of that. And I think, everybody has just stepped up to really reach out into the community and to still offer, all of our patrons are continuing to visit NPL's 20 branches for hundreds of free programs every month. So that you've heard me say before that staff who normally work at the main library are now temporarily working at the branches, and they are seeing their regular customers there. So it's really nice that they are using the other. And I think the other benefit has also been that the main staff and the branch staff have been able to work together, and that's really been nice because they usually don't get that opportunity. So they're sharing ideas and experiences, which, can just benefit MPL. So we continue, I just want to ensure that, weekday deliveries are still going from the NPL collection to Metro Nashville Public School libraries through the Limitless Libraries Initiative. So that group is actually working out of, thank you to Ashley and her team for creating their teen space from 6:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon for the Limitless Libraries team to be able to keep that program running. We've been working with, one of the things is with the cold weather, I've been sending daily email updates out to the branches to let them know. The Office of Homeless Services has been really good about making sure that there's areas for our customers who are experiencing homelessness to be able to have a place, since they really do frequent the main library. So, and then our staff really knows how to make sure they can connect those folks with those services. So in December alone, the Office of Homeless Services, they host 24 open office hour sessions, around 60 hours total at 5 different branches. So 2 of those locations, the North Branch is only 1.4 miles from Main, and Hadley Park is 3 miles from Main, and they're accessible by the city bus. So that's been really helpful as well. So we just want to thank our customers and just let them know that we appreciate their flexibility during this unprecedented event, because I don't think that, when I got a call at 3 in the morning on June the 11th, that we had any way to think that this would now be December and we would still be closed. So between the support our customers are giving us and the way staff are going above and beyond, it just shows that the main library is a building, but it's also a community. So that's my update on Maine, and I'll take any questions about that.
Okay.
I think we should just give staff a great big round of applause.
Can you say again what the situation is with the garage, and just to set expectations? People ask all the time.
So because the garage, NDOT oversees the parking garage. So they've had 3 structural engineers come in, because the one said this, the other one said something different, and so then the third one was like going to break the tie. So they have that information now, and but what Diana is hoping to be able to do is to shore up that 4th floor to then see. So the options are, can we use the 3 levels that are closest to our library, because that is structurally sound, while they do whatever work is going to happen at the rest of the garage. But the other option is that they have to totally tear down the entire garage, and then that option would no longer be on the table. So Diana is being really great about, understanding that, both the library staff and our customers really do need to be able, to park there at the garage. But no matter what happens, we will not be able to use that 4th floor entrance that is right off of the garage. So people will have to go around to the front entrance. That's what we know at this time. Like, I never say something's in stone, because things are changing every day. But I was really hoping to have a better update last Wednesday when we did the WebEx. So.
Questions? I think what the number one priority for the board has always been is the safety of the customers and the staff. And I think when people are anxious to get back in, we kept saying, not until it's safe. And so until we get that, you know, I think we, like he said, the staff has done a tremendous job. I hate to say this, but it's in my head, so I'm gonna say it. Had we been a for-profit or anything like that, people would have been laid off. And that did not happen at the library, because again, what we wanted to do is to make sure all our customers were served. And so the staff was just able to, with Terry's leadership, just redeploy to make sure all of the citizens of Nashville are served, including our homeless population. And that's just been tremendous. So we don't go back in until it's safe. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we have a lot. Let's
Yes.
go on then, because we have a lot of actionable items.
So next is Sean.
Oh, okay, we got Sean before you.
Yes.
Thank you. I did that last month, Sean. I'm sorry.
all
I
right.
keep wanting to get us to the votes, because I
That-
know that's what
Well,
everybody
I'll
has to
be
do.
quick.
no,
I want
no
to share
problem.
two particular things. One, we had a wonderful literary award
It
weekend.
was wonderful. Thank
yes.
you. Oh, thank you.
And that involved the public lecture at MLK, and we were packed. It was wonderful to see the entire auditorium at MLK filled. John Meacham interviewed Amor Tolles, and just had a packed crowd. Then the gala was Saturday night, and we were at at MBA, and again had record number of attendance, and raised more money than we've ever raised before. So really excited about just what that means for the library. The piece I'll say is, it was convenient for some of our guests to be at MBA. I heard a lot of comments of, we miss being at the library. So, there is a mix of, the convenience was great, parking was easy, all of those things, but also people did mention, we miss being in the space, but it was a great plan B, and it worked out really well. So thank you for all of you who were able to participate in some form or fashion of the weekend. The other thing I wanted to mention, we are in the end of the year campaign, and so you maybe have heard a little bit more from me than normal at this time of the year, but that included Giving Tuesday. We don't push Giving Tuesday really hard because it's pretty saturated. We actually wait until April when there's a Library Giving Day, because we can claim that. So we do have a Giving Tuesday kind of email, but only one email, and we try not to add to all of the noise of that day. But the complete year-end campaign really is focusing on us building sustaining donors. So really looking at people giving monthly, and then also just the storytelling impact. And from Giving Tuesday, there were 3 just quick quotes that donors sent in with their donation that I wanted to share with the board, but also with the library staff, because it really is about the library. And I think that is what becomes very clear of people are giving because they feel and understand the value of the library for themselves and for our community, and that we are a better community when we have a strong library. So one of the comments was, everyone deserves the chance to open their world through reading. Another one, the Nashville Public Library system is such a phenomenal and multifaceted resource and one of the richest and most rewarding in our community. We are so lucky. And then the final comment was, I'm continually impressed by the breadth of services NPL offers our community. Not only is there a wealth of books and media, but also education and support of so many groups in Nashville. Bravo and thank you. So as the fundraisers, we get to hear these things, but we're not doing the work that generates this, but it does allow our donors to want to give and give generously. So just wanted to end with those comments.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I ask, Sean, do you get feedback from the authors each year after the event? And do you take that into account, if you do get feedback, and do you take that into account in thinking about what it should look like going forward?
We don't do an official survey, but throughout the weekend, we get a lot of feedback and comments from the author. And just a few things from Amor. His favorite event is the public lecture, and we find that to be the case for many of our authors, is really love being able to engage. And for those of you who were in attendance, you saw like the student component at the end. Right. So it was John Meacham in conversation, which was fantastic, but then also to have the students raise questions was wonderful. If you didn't get a chance to see the public lecture, I'll just do a quick plug. It is with the help of Forrest and team. It is available on the library's YouTube channel, so definitely check that out. And if you were there, it's worth watching again.
It is hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Good.
I felt
so
like,
good.
yeah, I learned something. I was fully
and
entertained.
Having the students only do those questions was the best.
Yeah.
That was
So that was one comment, is the public lecture, and really appreciate and enjoy that opportunity. And our schedule is a lot because of the 3 events. And so we try to be very mindful, and Amor was very appreciative of kind of the breaks we gave him. But when we talked, Ann Patchett was there when we were having part of the conversation, and she's done a lot of these events at other libraries as well. And they were both saying, you can't cut the public lecture. And not that we ever would, because that's in the spirit of the library, but when we look at how demanding the weekend is, they really love that part of it. And so got that. Is there anything specific you were wondering about?
I just think they're worn out by the time Saturday night arrives. And, he did, he was good. Actually, he went on too long, if anything. But I just think that's been a problem from day one. It's just, I think what we ask of them, by the time they get, they're on constantly for 36 hours or something. And they just get to Saturday night. When we used to do the patrons party at Margaret Ann's, and it was structured differently, so there were more people there. I always thought that was the best thing, but public lecture right there with it, the gala then becomes almost anticlimactic in a way. And because I think they are just sort of, and it varies. Some of them feed on that, and some of them are exhausted by that. So you certainly can't cut out the morning thing. That's
we serve the public.
that's my thing. I just think that has to be there. Friday night, you might think about.
Yeah, we've been able to generate a lot of money from doing the Friday night because we don't charge for it, but it has encouraged donors to give at a higher level so they can come and have a more intimate experience on Friday night. So it becomes the issue of, the free event is the one everybody wants to do, but we're not making money off of that one. So we've kind of bookend it, but you're right. It is a really long weekend.
The thing that it's hard to have the author understand, to be in the spotlight 3 times and understand that his audience, there's some of us who go to all 3. Saturday night is a lot of people who haven't done anything but that. And it's hard. It's really hard to speak with some value. He did go on too long, but if that was the only exposure you'd had to it, maybe you loved hearing all this.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
It is hard. All right, that's all.
And I think Charles was saying something about the Carnegie Society also looked at the Amor Tolles book, and Charles attended that. I don't know if you wanted to say.
You know, it was interesting, number one, to go into a facility like that, you felt like you was walking back into history, number one. Number two, the thing that I really did enjoy about the event is that everybody read the same book, but it was just so many different observations and revelations about that. But everybody agreed about the conclusion about the book. And the one thing I could say is if we can get together and come up with solutions and have good discussions, then our government should be able to do the same thing. So, not taking any sides, not calling any names, but it was really interesting, and time went by so fast. You know, I felt like we could have spent another hour, you know, having a continued discussion about the topics that we was presented there. But also, may I make an observation about North?
Yes, sir.
Right on the floor. So, North had a wonderful event. I think Shelley was the individual and the team out there that hosted their Christmas or holiday event out there. You know, had so many students packed out, so many people. I have so many pictures on my phone. I thought that it was absolutely amazing to see how the community in that particular area came to the library, fellowship, and built relationships amongst each other as well. So kudos to the people out there at that branch off of Clarksville Highway North.
Thank you. Thank you. All the branches, it's the same, but it's all different. Each has its own character. Thank you. Okay. So Terry, it will talk to us about the out-of-service area, revised out-of-service area, and guide us through the grant contract.
Okay, so the item A about the out-of-service area, Noel, our collections manager, and Jenny Lane, shared systems manager, gave you all a presentation during the last board meeting, and I wanted to make sure that you all had a chance to really absorb what, you know, she presented, because we want to make a recommendation for the revised out-of-service area. So if there are additional questions, Noel and Jenny are both here. Otherwise, I would just ask that we move on the new service area. And the main reason for this is that you know, we have a lot of customers that are out of our service area that do not pay taxes in Metro, in Davidson County. And so what we want to do is to be able to have, you know, less wait times for our own customers and for them to take priority, since they are the ones that are helping us to, you know, fund the library and our collection. So that really is the main reason. And Noel did really well about, you know, saying those that do have out of county rate or out of service area right now, that theirs is good for the year that they've, you know, paid the $10 for. So, you know, we'll take questions if you have them, and otherwise we'll go ahead and vote.
This was a discussion at the last board meeting. I don't know if you want to, for the people who are watching, just to say,
Yes.
explain what we're voting on again.
Oh, sorry. So we're voting on decreasing we're wanting to decrease the out-of-service area. This doesn't mean that folks that live outside of Davidson County can't still use the library. They can still come to programs. What we're saying is that with the fact that 70% of our circulation is now ebooks, and ebooks are now $79 minimally for a lease for 2 years, that there are some books that customers are waiting 9 months to get that particular book. So we want to refocus on our Davidson County customers and allow them to, you know, be able to be higher up on the holds list and have better access to the collection. So Noel, do you want to say anything else?
One other question real quickly, if you'll people are paying $10 now, they will be paying that. Can you just go over just those top lines again?
You gotta come to a
Yeah, you have to come up to a microphone.
You can use this.
Okay, so the 13 counties that we're proposing comprise our library service area, as opposed to, I think it's 56 counties right now. They will not have access to digital. They will have access to physical collections, programming, they can come to our events, etc. Davidson County users and our license agreements with our digital providers is for Davidson County. We're actually, right now, not in agreement with the contracts we're signing for some of our vendors if we allow digital access outside of Davidson County. In addition, as the director stated, the costs have kept rising. I did a study, and it averages about $52, but there are some ebooks, the audiobooks, that can go up to $113 for one copy that we might own for 2 years, and we have to rebuy. She did a study, and we can spend as much as $3,400 on one title to satisfy demand, and that's at a fairly high holds threshold. And we do our holds thresholds from as low as 4 to 1 based on the cost of the item up to 9 to 1. That means we don't buy another copy till we have a 10th hold on that 9 to 1. That means you can wait a year to get that book. We don't want that. We lose customers. Once you get beyond about a 5 to 1 holds threshold, people don't wait. They go buy their copy. They don't use the library. So, yeah, the cost is the main reason why we're keeping it for Davidson County users, but legally we really should be doing that anyway.
And can you tell them about that the people outside of Davidson County can get access through Tennessee Reads?
Yes. So they have access to Tennessee Reads. That is a consortium collection of Overdrive ebooks, the audiobooks, that our users cannot access. It's not available for the 4 metro libraries. It is available for all the regional library systems. And they have access, and sometimes the waits are less for that than our collection right now. Didn't used to be that way.
Did you get your question?
No.
Yes,
Just because it's not as important as the things you just spoke about. But I, in the last month, just from our last meeting, have had some questions. So I want to make sure that I understand it. Right now, if you're out of county, you pay $10 and you get access. The new 13 counties, you will pay nothing.
You'll pay nothing.
Right. They have less access. They have access to everything inside the library. They won't have access to digital. But the balance is they're not going to pay for that.
Correct.
Okay. That's what I had questions about. All right. Thanks.
I wanted to know the time frame. So how far in advance will they know that they will no longer have access?
Well, we send out renewal notices usually about 2 weeks or so before, and they'll be notified at that time that the policy's changed, and they will have maybe access, in this case just to the physical. We'll have a link showing the new policy to that renewal. But that's the only way we can do it, because this is going to roll out over a period of a full year.
I asked, when does this?
Will
Do
there
you
be
know-
Kate is next, I think.
Does my library card number relate to my address, and that's how you know that I'm out of service area?
Well, it won't be a special number, but we'll have an account. Jenny Lane could speak more on that.
You have to speak in the microphone.
Yeah, it's just how you know. Okay.
You have to speak in the mic.
Yeah, they'll have different
Your
accounts that
address
we'll set
information
up.
is in your account, and we will just use zip codes to determine what county you're in.
And we're not going to plan to go live with this if this is approved until January 20th.
And that's because of the holidays and
Yeah,
vacations.
Will there be some kind of, if somebody from outside Davidson County tries to access an ebook, will there be something pop up, say, you can't do that anymore, but Tennessee Reads, I mean, will they, can they either be reminded or directed to Tennessee Reads?
We can put something on our website where, and I don't think we can do it on the apps, because those are managed by our vendors. I can check, but I don't think we can do that. No. I think it has to be on our website. So if they go to our website and they want to access Libby for our ebooks, we can certainly have something in there saying if you're out of our library service area, we can have a link to Tennessee Reads, if you're in Tennessee. I don't think we can do that with the Libby app, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Are there other questions?
one other
We need
question,
to- 'cause
sorry.
we gotta move on.
Okay, real quickly. Well, the 43 counties that have been kicked out,
Don't say it like that.
okay, the 43 counties that are no longer in our catchment area, I assume that was chosen on,
Usage.
yes.
And some logic. The 13 counties that we have decided to keep in our service area touch or one county away. And they're also the fastest growing counties. We know that that's where the population boom is. But we also, and Jenny did a great job looking at actual usage.
Right.
And it's really low once you get
Yeah, it's like-
outside of those
Like
counties.
90% of our out of county usage is in those 13 counties.
Okay, that's what I just
Yeah.
wanted to have that on the record.
And we can also add something about, visit your local library or Nashville Reads to the patron expiration notification too. We could do a link there.
That'd be great,
Okay, thank you.
because we want people to read it.
Okay.
I need a motion to approve the revised out of service area. Motion by Kate, second by Keith. Any other comment, question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carried. Ms.
Yay.
Director?
Thank
Okay,
you.
on to the grants.
Okay, so this is a new process for us. So what I'm asking with the NPLF grants is that you approve these grants that include a breakdown of the NPLF funds to NPL for fiscal year '26. If you look at it, Susan put the information together. They're the broad categories like the wishing chair, the puppet truck, and different, and we do this anyways once a year in terms of, giving our budget breakdowns to Sean, and then the NPLF board approves that. So while there may be minor calculation discrepancies, this is on page 74.
My book has 22 pages. Is there a book with more pages?
Yes. Oh, wow.
Travis, Travis and I can share.
No, we made enough for the board, Katie.
She's,
Yeah, I don't know what, there we go, thanks.
we just didn't, what's
That's good, sorry, keep on going.
No, that's okay. So we made the bigger packets for all the board members and then the other ones so that we're not, continuing to kill more trees. So anyway, so to go back to, there's minor calculation discrepancies in the grants that are included in the board packet. Susan and Sean and Rachel will be meeting to correct them before we need to take the grants for approval to council. So the change comes now in, we bring the NPLF expenditures to the board approves them, and then that goes forward to Metro Council for approval. This is once a year, unless there are some changes where we're not, we have to make an edit, which would be normally we would do this at the first part of the fiscal year and then make adjustments, in the second half of the year. But we're asking to start this as soon as possible. So what I'm asking you is that you give me and the staff the NPL staff the authority to finalize the grant amounts and work with Metro Legal to get the grants filed with Metro Council. So this is, again, a new procedure for NPLF and NPL. We've been working on this since last October, and we were unaware that our library is the process was out of compliance with the Metro Code. And so it is really important that the library be in compliance while expending these funds. If there are any changes or additions to these grants, we'll take them to council before the end of FY26. And then we will report the final grant contract amounts to you at the January meeting for these 5 that I'm asking you to approve today.
Can we just, can we have a motion? I'm thinking about the most efficient way to do this, rather than approving each grant, is can we approve the grant contracts from the foundation with authority to the director to finalize the numbers?
Macy, do we need to do each one, or can they do?
Whatever the board prefers. If you all want to take them up as a whole, if you've reviewed them and are comfortable with.
They were in our packet that
Yeah.
was mailed
Yes.
to us.
So
Yeah.
you can vote on them as a whole. I plan to draft the legislation to send it to council as one big packet.
Yes, I
So,
think that's the best thing.
I move to accept the full 2026 package that been presented to the board and the operational procedure as well.
Any, don't have a second yet? Second. Any question or discussion? All in,
What would happen if Metro Council said no to something?
So
would not approve the
They would
grant?
not approve what the library wants to do with those funds. What's
Even though
the,
we say yes, we
Yeah.
need their yes to move ahead.
Yeah.
So that means that their no will outshine our yes.
so then what would happen?
so legally, for you all to spend money or accept grant funds from the foundation, it has to go to council. The grant contract has to be approved by council. I don't foresee them not approving the grants, but if they didn't, then there would not be a mechanism for the library to legally accept those funds from the foundation.
he
And we
just,
would ask for, probably we would need to ask for expansion of our budget to cover that program from the Metro.
Yeah, just what the mechanics are. I mean, we're not talking about anything that's new. These grants have been
No,
happening forever.
Right.
But
And it might be good for them to know
what we
how
do.
much outside funding we need to fund our programs at. That they're not, it's not coming from. I mean, we need every penny from Metro Council, but we need this additional funding to remain one of the top libraries in the country.
And once
My
this
opinion.
does
I'm sorry.
is ready for council approval, I will attend the committee meetings. We will, of course, loop in the mayor's office, and any council interaction that needs to happen. I'm happy to participate in that, just to make sure that, they understand how important it is to the library that we are able to accept these funds.
Is there an appeals process?
No, I mean, we could file legislation again, or if discussion came up and there were issues with one grant and not another, we would help you all in that process. Again, I don't see there being a reason why the Metro Council would not allow the library to accept these dollars from the foundation that they're so generously giving you all.
Any other more discussion? That was fruitful, thank you. Any other discussion, questions?
So I just have to add that, Kate, I agree with Macy. I mean, we're not gonna have a problem with council as currently constituted and as the mayor's office is currently constituted and as the legal department is currently constituted. It just creates a process where if it's not so currently constituted in the future, there could be problems.
Any other comments? So we have a motion on the floor. We have a second. All in favor of approving the grant contracts from the public library with giving authority to the director of the library to finalize numbers. Please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passed. Materials budget, Terry.
Okay, so one of the things that I noticed 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, when I came to NPL was that the fact that our materials budget comes from 4% funds. I don't know of any other system in the country that relies on 4% funds for their main product. I mean, it is our product. It is what, whether it's an ebook or it's a print book, people count on us to have that available. And so I've been thinking about it a lot over the last year. And I asked Susan to run some numbers because what I'm going to advocate for, and I don't really need a vote, I just want you all to know about this, is that I want to move the funding for materials and collections from the 4% to operating. And the reasons that I want to do this is because over the past 12 years, the average amount funded by Metro through 4% funds is just $2,715,000. So, it was great the first year. We got $3.5 million when I was interim, but the next year we got $2.5 million, and then last year we got $4.5. I don't know how much more I can advocate to council or to the mayor's office to give us those funds, but this time for their first allocation is just 1.8 million. So there could be a second and a third, and hopefully we'll get more, but the reality is we depend on that 4%, and then we compete against emergency services, we compete against the schools, all of those that then jump ahead because they're fire, police, they're essential services. So in my mind, I know one of the concerns was if we move it to operating, what happens if we have a not so great budget year, right? And I think that there was a lot of trauma around years ago when, but the entire Metro budget was significantly reduced. I think the thing about having it in our own budget is that then we can decide, if we need to look at our overall operating budget and try to find the money for the collections. So I have talked to the Metro Finance, and they are on board. I talked to the mayor, Kristen Wilson, and Clifton Pay about it. And what I'm asking is for $5 million in the fiscal year budget. And the reality is that, systems that are very similar in size to us, we rank 22nd out of 25. And because ebooks are going up 70, they're 70%, and there's so much more, our physical collection is just, it's wearing out. And Noel isn't able to do replacements because the money is mostly going towards that e-collection. So what I'd like to do, though, over the next several years is to increase that. Noel looked at everything, and she said for a system our size, we should really have $7 million a year because that is our product. And how did she get to that? She reviewed and compared data gathered from the Urban Libraries Council, and this is the most current information that she could get. Again, the demand for ebooks is equaling the deterioration of the regular collection, the rise of the cost of ebooks, just in the year. So when I became interim, only 40% of our circulation was done through ebooks. Now it's increased in just 3 years to 70%. And so my concern is the more that we have to divert the funding to make sure that we're covering those holds for the ebooks, the more our physical collection is going to deteriorate. So I just didn't expect, for finance and the mayor's office to, be the one to solve this problem for us. So I talked to the NPLF with Sean and the board. And so what we're going to try to do, Sean and I are going this afternoon at 3 to meet with Mayor O'Connell for my quarterly meeting, and the entire discussion is going to be about collections. And so what we would do is have NPLF help us address the $2 million gap over the next so many years. So then hopefully by then we can continue to gain that money in our operating budget. And so, I just wanted to make sure that I'm happy to, answer any questions, but I really feel like this is the right thing for us to do for our primary product.
I feel like I have to make a comment here.
I knew that was, you or Keith, that was coming.
I understand your logic, and you have laid it out quite well. And I'm totally in favor, greatly in favor of the foundation kind of broadening what they bring to the library in terms of supporting collections, because I do think that is the heart of who we are. And it is so important. Nobody could have anticipated ebooks way back when the 4% was decided. I do think it is risky business. And the whole reason that collections were coming out of the 4% was in anticipation of years that would be bad, and we might not get anything. And so if you had the 4%, you're always going to get something. And I think now we're just moving the calculation. We will always be up against other departments who do great services like we do. But if it's a question of, can we put out fires, or can police be at someone's home, all of those things we'll probably always take, might be on a lower rung. And so I just feel like we're moving the risk that I know that concerns you just into a different arena. And yeah, and there's no guarantee that our operating budget won't be touched such that our collections diminish, which is why I think the foundation stepping up and saying this is when the foundation talks to you and to librarians, and we understand that collections are so important to every single person who has anything to do with the library, and the foundation's answer to that is, how can we help? Okay, I think we can. That's critical. But I just feel as though this is a really big step. And it is definitely one with someone as old as me having 1 foot, in a piece of cement back behind me. But
I think Noelle,
it scares me.
do you want to come up? I think you. The thing I would say, Katie, is in looking at our operating budget over the last 10 years compared to our 4%, is that we really haven't had a really bad year. Like, I understand, the worst case scenario is that we don't get funded, but that's a risk that we're going to run no matter what. And I think unless something catastrophic would happen, I think there's a better chance for us to get the funding out of operating, and then that lets us also control shifting funds, if we need to.
Let me just, and Noelle, I want to hear what you have to say, but let me push back a little bit. In 2009, we had to close operating all libraries across the city on Fridays, and it took us 10 years to get back to where, in fact, in our operating budget, we had enough money to have every single branch open on Friday. That wasn't that long ago. That was a real and present danger that I think we shouldn't ignore. And so, and when it comes, are we deciding whether we're adding in the collection or whether we paying staff to keep the doors open? Anyway, I think it's a risky business. You go, Noelle.
Well, I'm old. I've been here since 2007.
I'm older than you.
I've lived through the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that in between with the budget. I think the largest cut that we've had to take, and correct me, Susan, if I'm wrong, is around 4% maybe of our operating budget that the
Yes.
mayor's asked us to make
You mean
in a bad budget
in a
year.
bad budget year, it's been as high as 6?
So 6. I've had 100% cut to my collections budget. I routinely had 30, 20, 15% cuts to the collections budget. I loved Donna nicely, but she was wrong. There is less control when you leave it in the capital. I think what the director said is right. When it's in the operating, the library makes the decisions. Now, if you wanted to do a 6, 7% cut to my budget, 10%, that'd be fine. But when you do a 50%, 40% cut, it's devastating. The other problem with the capital, and I don't know if it was addressed, is that we don't know how much money we're getting and when. We literally do not know. So how do you plan for your collections? How do you sign contracts? How do you promise to deliver products when you don't know what the funding's going to be for the next 6 months, let alone a year?
Any other comments from anybody else? I like
Yeah,
to
I-
add, go ahead, Keith.
Can I? Well, what Noel says is right. I think the biggest problem with the 4% money is the lack of predictability. And we've had that problem, I mean, as long as I've been involved, it's come out of the 4% money, and and it is a problem. And I applaud Terry and Susan and whoever else has been involved for at least, trying to do something about it. Katie's also right. This is risky business, and then couple that with the fact that council now has more control over whether we even get foundation money or not. That's another risky business. So it does bother me, but I guess I guess I've got a couple of questions. One is, if we get, let's just use a round number, $3 million a year in the 4% money, and we're now going to say we're going to forego that $3 million, and we're going to take on faith, I guess, that there's going to be a corresponding $3 million that's going to be in our operations budget this year. Is that where we are right now?
So, do you want to, I know you were going to say something.
When we have to put the budget in, we have to do it in early February normally.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest that we do is put it in both places, just to hedge our bets. If it's not in the capital, if it's not in the CIB, it can't be considered at all. If we put it in the operating and they give it to us, great. If not, then it's still approved in the CIB, if they don't approve it in the operating. And they don't have to fund it. Even if it's in the CIB, they don't have to fund it, but they can't even consider it if it's not in there. So I would put it in both places.
Well, I guess it's if we're going this route, and I understand all the rationale for doing it. Sorry. It would be really important, I think, to start off on the right foot in the operating budget, because the way the budgeting process works, they don't start with zero budgeting every year. Whatever's there sort of dictates what goes forward. I know they're not bound to it, but it sort of helps if we can get some sort of commitment from them that you're going to get the kind of funding to start with that you need. My other concern is they say, okay, we'll do this. That's great that the foundation's kicking another $2 million in. That feels really good. Let's just keep going with that, And I think that's a real danger. So, we've got a friendly council now, and we've got a friendly mayor. If we're going this route, let's get as much commitment from them as we possibly can. I mean, what happens is the 4% money is going to be the same no matter what, system-wide. 4% is going to come out of the budget no matter what. So that's $3 million in the 4% money that's going to go to somebody else. So that means that there's 3%, I mean, there's now $3 million over in the operating budget that was never there before. And that's going to be a gulp for somebody. So if we're going to do this, we need some, and I like what you're doing, Susan. I think that's a great idea. But I just want us to push for as much comfort in this as we can, because Katie is exactly right. It is risky. And if we can convert it to this so that it is in the operating budget and it is adequately funded in the operating budget, then I don't think you'll have as much up and down. But I also think there's opportunity there for a cost-conscious council to say, I don't think you really need that much money, or more likely, you're getting $2 million from the foundation. Why should we kick in $1 million or $2 million to take them off the hook when we don't have to?
Sean, has there been discussion of by the foundation board?
Around contributing to
$2 million.
collections?
Yes.
There has been a conversation around contributing to collections. There hasn't been around the amount. And that was just a very recent conversation around Noelle and the library team identifying what is our optimum in terms of, for us, with our size and our service area, what's the optimum for us? And that's where the 7 million came from. Knowing Terry was going to contribute 5, I think, so I can't say we're in for committing 2 million. I haven't talked with the board, need to talk with the fundraising team, but this is what we are exploring for a limited time. So not into perpetuity. And that's the conversation we're going to have with the mayor this afternoon is, we know the mayor can't commit to future years' budgets, but to say the Nashville Public Library is already lagging. And we all know that when we go to Libby and we try to reserve a book and we have to wait for 9 months, is lagging behind the, when you look at our comparable library systems. The foundation can't forever help meet this because it will be at the detriment of other programs that we're supporting. But we're willing to commit for a period of time, whether that's 2 or 3 years, to give Metro time to try to ramp up to that ideal amount. And so that's the strategy that we're wanting to explore with the mayor of, does this seem to be something, instead of Terry just going with, we have a problem, can you fix it? Of saying, how can we work together to get the library to a point? And we know as the foundation, we can't forever commit. And so wanting to figure out, how do we frame this? How do we talk about it? And again, all of this is still just very hot off the press, and wanting, though, to be really thoughtful in the approach of how we do this. There was an earlier conversation where I was thinking, what if we do a match? So we're matching what, because again, that wouldn't let them off the hook, but that felt a little bit more like into perpetuity if we would set it up as a match. And so instead thinking about, let us just be a bridge for a transitional period.
I hate to be bad cop, but we have still 2 more items on the agenda, and I hate to cut short. We always cut short. Jenna, we don't want to cut you short. We have to hear, there are 2 items there. I said 4 items. We still have 4 items, and we have, 12 minutes now.
Yeah, but Joyce, this is existential, foundational stuff that we're dealing with. I guess my only question further is just, what are you looking for today, Terry?
So I just wanted
us
you all to
information.
know that this was something that we're going to go and talk to the mayor about today.
You're not asking
It's
for action.
information.
Yes,
I'm
you
not
said.
asking for
Yeah.
action today.
She's informational because she still has to have that. She's just letting us know ahead of time what's going to happen.
Meeting in January.
So let's move on because we still have 4 items. So that's Jenna. You want to talk to us about the 2 items that you have? Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to talk to you today about a new policy, the library materials display policy, which is on page 99. This policy outlines how we plan, implement, and manage our material displays and marketing of our materials across all our locations, and especially how we address community feedback to our displays. So displays are really a vital part of providing accessibility to our collections, promoting literacy, and just our engagement with the community. So the purpose is to establish a standardized process for creating and maintaining our displays and marketing, to ensure that our displays reflect the diversity, the interests, and the values of our community, and that they support intellectual freedom and equitable access to ideas. So it outlines that the planning and approval of our displays, the staff propose displays and marketing to their supervisor, and that the final approval for displays is given to the manager of that division. So that they are responsible for making sure that the displays ensure alignment with our library goals. Displays are rotated regularly, depending on the theme and the amount of materials available, but our marketing of materials could be something that's out on the shelves ongoing. So, for example, you walk into the nonfiction section, 500s, and you'll see science books face out in that area. So that's an example of how we market materials. And this, it talks about how we address customer feedback to and concerns to our displays. If a customer has an issue with a piece of material that is displayed, we refer that patron, our staff refers that patron to the manager or the person in charge of the, at that moment. And that we have a conversation with the patron about our materials that are on display. We then will use, if the patron is not satisfied and wants to take the conversation further, we use our policy that we have, our procedures, excuse me, that we have for request for consideration. So if there's something that somebody does not want to display, we do have a process that we will give them a packet of information that does go over things like the freedom, intellectual freedom, and some ALA access, our access that we follow with ALA. And that if in there, there's a form that they can fill out, and it is submitted, and our collection team, Noel, will review those reconsideration, and then our director, excuse me, will respond to any of these forms.
We
that are
get
submitted.
back to, you're laying out the procedure, which I really appreciate. Do we get back to that patron at some point in the process to say?
Yes, there is a response, usually in form of a letter or email to that patron.
We email a response.
So this policy is just to help our staff on how we handle, and also inform our community how we handle the feedback that they give about materials on display in our, and what it says is that if the material met our collection guidelines to be considered within the collection, to be added to the collection, then it is also can be displayed in the library.
So this requires a vote of the board. Do you have any concerns or questions, anybody? Do I need a motion?
Moved.
Hey, Jarvis, second. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jenna, motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So you want to go to Ash?
No, I was just going to say that, you know, we have had some challenges to the to not just books in the collection, but also displays. So we thought it would be really good to have a policy that we could send along with, you know, when we send the email back.
Does that include, remember there was a question somebody brought up, the library had posted a list of books on a particular topic, and I can't remember the specifics right now, I could go back, but remember I came to you because they
Yes.
called me and said, why are you doing this? This is one side of, this is one perspective. And my response was, if the library is doing one side, I bet you they're doing the other. But, you know, I'm glad to research that.
Yeah.
Does display equal that? I mean, okay.
We want to make sure we're providing a well-rounded and representing all our community.
Yeah.
Everybody has
Yeah.
different interests.
Thank you. So Ashley and Kyle, you think we could do 3 minutes each? I'm trying to manage this getting out of here.
I will be very brief.
Okay, okay, Ashley.
Before
You're so
Ashley-
glad to
oh, sorry.
be here. No.
No, it's amazing.
I'm glad to be here and welcome everyone to Edmondson Pike. Did you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say that, you know, we're very fortunate to have Ashley as the manager of this regional library. She worked here for a long time as a children's library associate, and then as a children's librarian, and then as the manager of the children's department. And Ashley has just brought incredibly wonderful ideas, you know, whether it's the Easter egg hunt, whether it's the Halloween parade, you know, all of the program for music and movement is now throughout the library system. So I just wanted to say we're
miss
really
you. She got the promotion.
I miss
over here
Edgehill
from
too.
Edgehill. So we miss you, but I'm not mad at you. Go ahead.
Thank you all. I really do appreciate it. I've been here, like Terry said, I've been here about almost 9 years now. So it's like coming back home here, but Edgehill still has a very special place in my heart. So I'll be very brief. It is my honor to share you some highlights about the Edmondson Pike Library. This is our team here. We serve a very diverse community, and our staff is also very diverse. So we have staff that speak Spanish. We also have staff that speak Arabic and Chinese. So we can serve a lot of our patrons. And because of them, I'm able to do this, and I have such an amazing team, so I want to make sure that I do recognize them. We were recently highlighted for Nashville Scene, thanking our staff for the outstanding work that we do here at Edmondson Pike. And if you did not see the decorations when you entered the building, we just celebrated our 25th birthday on December the 3rd. So this was our birthday party. We had a special appearance from Bob Nash, our council member, and we also had the science guy come out, and we had Croft Middle School band come to perform. So it was a fun-filled day. And then this is our team again. Outreach that we do here. So we do partner with American House Senior Living, which is right across the road over here. We go and do word searches with them. We do painting, just lots of activities. And we also annually do a gift giving program for the seniors at American House. And some of our outreach also, Sade, our adult librarian, has attended Comic-Con, Small World Yoga's International Day of Yoga Festival, and the Nashville Pride Festival. And we've also had Clara go to Overton High School.
here are some more pictures from some of the outreach we've done. We have so I've gone to Paragon Mills Elementary School. Lex there in the left corner attended the powwow event, and then more pictures at Overton High School. Some of our programming here includes story times, Shelf Care Book Club, Tween Creation Station, computer classes, book clubs, yoga, Dungeons and Dragons, Crafternoon, so lots and lots of programming. And as you can see, this room can get pretty jam-packed. This is one of our annual events called the Halloween Spooktacular. So we all dress up in our costumes. This was us this year. As you can see, I am dressed up down there in all the green. So we do partner with other organizations. Some of those are mentioned there. And then kids and families can come out to get candy and goodies. We've had a Wicked sing-along, so those are some of our pictures from that event. And an awesome foam party. We also have our community garden. Right now it's kind of downtime, but usually we have a lot of work in our garden because it takes a lot. So a lot of planting, as you can see in our pictures here, and we also partner with Valor Collegiate Academy to help tend to those garden beds. And recently we were awarded the Nashville Earth Day Environmental Fund Grant for 2025 for $2,000. And this was an initiative from Jay and Sade. They applied and we got a grant. So we're gonna use that money to invest into the community gardens, sustainability, accessibility, and educational value. And some images of things we have harvested from the gardens. And this is the partnership that I mentioned with Valor Collegiate Academy. And yeah, so EP rocks.
Thank you. That's marvelous.
Any questions?
Just thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
It's apparent when you walk in the door.
Thank you. We love it here.
Annalisa
It's a beautiful
Chester,
place
this
to
is her
work.
home, so she was so glad to get back here.
It's my library as well.
Oh, right. Well, thank you. Kyle.
I'm going to recognize my colleague, Nikki Glassley, first.
Hello, I'm Nikki Glassley, Children's Librarian and co-lead steward of the Libraries Union. Along with Kyle and Wolfgang, we are today representing the 201 unionized library employees, 62% of NPL's workforce. We would like to share our thoughts on two pressing issues today. You are hopefully aware that earlier this fall, Tennessee's Secretary of State sent letters to NPL and surrounding libraries instructing librarians to be mindful in their collection development. More recently, regional libraries in Tennessee, though not in Davidson County or any other major metropolitan area in the state, received more direct letters instructing those libraries to begin a, quote, immediate age appropriateness review, end quote. Over a period of 60 days, libraries as close as Linebaugh, Smyrna, and Murfreesboro are to identify materials that may be, quote, inconsistent with Tennessee's age appropriateness laws, in violation of any federal law, including President Trump's executive order, end quote. This executive order refers to the Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremism and Restoring Biological Truth to Federal Government executive order. We understand that right now it does not appear NPL, its collections, or its staff are in any immediate danger. However, we ask the board to take conscientious steps to prepare for if, or quite possibly when, the next letter is to the Nashville Public Library. We ask the board to review carefully what's occurring in our neighboring counties and ask yourselves how you would respond to a direct attack on NPL's collections, our ability to serve our diverse communities, and every patron's freedom to read.
Whenever I visit Metro Council, I wonder how this city would respond to a crisis in the other municipal downtown garage. If there's an incident at courthouse garage, would we wait 6 months before an investigation would start? Would we wait 6 months to remove vehicles and debris so that the insurance folks could get in there and assess the damage. If there were other public venues where significant tax revenues were comprised, like our football stadium or a hockey arena, would we forego a 6-month major league sports season? The main library is the primary library for downtown residents and for people working therein. Our library also serves as the central distribution hub for all the materials of the library system, the administrative offices, and every celebrated program that we talk about here month after month. Bringing Books to Life, NASA, you're familiar with them. City officials may not feel primarily obligated to, they might feel more obligated to bondholders or to the considerable revenue of other departments like NDOT, but these obligations are subservient to our community's requirement of a strong public library with a central library, and it needs this to function. What good is this parking garage if we salvage it only for tourists and big business, only to sacrifice the grand public library that helped drive all the private investment downtown in the first place? We ask all of you to use your considerable influence to restore this downtown main library, including its parking garage, back to the people of Nashville. It is in the city's best interest to utilize the library garage for its intended function. Stand up for our community's use of the public library as the most important use of the remaining parking library structure. We insist our leaders explain these delays and bottlenecks publicly so that community pressure can be put on the parties holding up any progress.
Thank you. Anything else today? We're behind time, but I want to thank you all for coming. You see all of that in the paper, so your comments are well noted.
Joyce, can I, sorry,
Yeah,
just
go
one
ahead.
thing. So I'd like to say, to go back to what Nikki was bringing forward, that I have been in contact with our state librarian, James Ritter. We are not at this time getting a letter, but we have already prepared for if we do get a letter. So I've sent the letter from the other library systems to Macy so that she can review and be prepared. Noelle has already gone through our collections from back to 2022 to know that there are some books that we would have to think about. So for right now, I think we're doing as much as we can to prepare if we do. And it basically was like to be determined when I received the email from the state librarian.
Good to know we're thinking for the future and being prepared, as you suggested. Motion to adjourn. Moved. Needs no second. We are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov